The weeks after Allison's first real breakthrough blurred together in a rhythm that felt almost human again. She woke with the sunrise, ran along the river, filled pages in her notebook with fragments of thought, and let the world seep back into her in pieces. Life was far from whole, but it was no longer defined only by absence. Still, grief had its way of sneaking in at unexpected hours. Some evenings, while chopping vegetables for dinner, she would catch the memory of David standing beside her, teasing her about her uneven knife skills. Other times it was the way a certain song on the radio could catch her off guard, collapsing her chest inward until she could barely breathe. Healing, she was learning, wasn't a straight line. It was a spiral, sometimes moving forward, sometimes looping back, but always circling towards something larger than pain. One Saturday morning, Allison sat at a cafe tucked on a quiet corner near Beacon Hill. She had brought her notebook, though for a while she only stared at the page. Around her, the place buzzed with the easy hum of conversation, friends catching up, couples sharing pastries, someone reading the newspaper aloud to their partner. Ordinary sounds of ordinary lives. Once, that background noise would have made her feel like an intruder. Now, it simply reminded her that she was part of the same world, even if her chapter looked different. She picked up her pen and wrote. Healing feels like walking across a bridge I can't fully see. Some days I trust the planks beneath my feet. Other days I'm sure it will all give way. But step by step, I keep moving. The words weren't perfect, but they were hers. And lately, that was enough. Claire called that afternoon. How's Boston treating you? Allison smiled at the sound of her sister's voice. Cold. But manageable. I've been running again. Running? As involuntarily. Claire teased. Don't sound so shocked. Turns out I don't hate it as much as I remembered. That's huge, Al. I'm proud of you. The pride in her sister's voice warmed her in a way that coffee never could. They talked for nearly an hour, about work, about the book Allison had been reading, about nothing and everything. Before hanging up, Claire said, You know, you sound lighter. Like there's space in your voice again. Allison didn't answer right away. Her throat tightened, but not in the way it once had. This was different, this was gratitude pressing against her ribs. Thanks, Claire, she whispered. That means more than you know. That evening, Allison decided to try something she had avoided for months, cooking an actual meal. Not just scrambled eggs or reheated soup, but something intentional. She flipped through an old cookbook until she found a recipe for lemon chicken with rosemary potatoes, one she and David had once attempted, disastrously, in their first apartment. She tied her hair back, poured herself a glass of wine, and got to work. The smell of garlic and herbs soon filled the kitchen. For a moment, she half expected him to wander in, to make a sarcastic comment about her experimental cooking. The ache came, sharp and familiar. But instead of collapsing beneath it, Allison breathed through it, stirring the potatoes, grounding herself in the present. By the time she sat down at the table, a plate of golden chicken in front of her, she realized she wasn't replaying the past anymore. She was building a new memory, just hers, just now. The food wasn't perfect, but it was real. She ate slowly, savoring the small victory. A week later, Allison attended her first group writing workshop since everything fell apart. It was held in the back of a small bookstore, with mismatched chairs and the faint smell of coffee drifting from the front counter. 10 strangers gathered in a circle, notebooks in their laps. The facilitator, a soft-spoken woman named Marjorie, asked everyone to write about a place that saved you. Allison froze at first. What place had saved her? She thought of the river, the way its steady current reminded her that life always moved forward. She thought of her sister's visits, of her tiny kitchen, even of this bookstore with its dusty shelves. Then, slowly, she began to write. When it was her turn to share, her voice trembled. The place that saved me wasn't a location. It was the space I created inside myself the day I decided to stop waiting for someone else to fill it. It's not whole yet, but it's mine. The room was silent for a beat. Then someone across the circle whispered, "That's beautiful." Another person nodded. Allison's chest tightened again, but this time with something close to pride. That night, walking home under the city's streetlights, Allison felt a quiet shift inside her. The grief was still there, she doubted it would ever fully leave. But it no longer defined every corner of her life. She could hold loss in one hand and possibility in the other. Back in her apartment, she opened her notebook and wrote one final line before bed. Stars are beautiful not because they are close, but because they shine despite the distance. Maybe that's what healing is, learning to shine, even across the distance of everything you've lost. For the first time, she closed the notebook not with heaviness, but with a small, stubborn kind of hope. And as she drifted into sleep, the city outside pulsed with life, and Allison knew, truly knew, that she was finally learning to pulse with it again.